If virtual machines in a hypervisor can be expensive and it's not portable, do we have any other options? Well, absolutely. We have containers. Now, what I'm gonna do is I will add a box here, and this will be our host operating system. Now, most of the time, our host operating system runs in Linux. Okay, Linux. There you go. Now, what I will also do is I will add our PC here, our workstation, and connect it to our host operating system. Okay, this is management network. And we're gonna use the same network 192.168.10.0, same network with our VMware ESXi, and I will assign a host IP of 97. There you go. Now, it is important to note that it's different compared to our hypervisor because in our host operating system, we need to install what we call the container engine, okay, or sometimes we call it container runtime engine. So this is our engine. And maybe you're thinking, what is a container engine? Container engine basically is the one that builds those containers. Okay, so container engine is not only the one who builds but also the maintain the containers. And take note, by default, these are not installed in our Linux operating system. Now also take note that the container engine maintains, not only creates but maintains the system configuration, network configuration, or the network and storage of our containers. So yeah, all of these three pillars, these are maintained by the container runtime engine. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build our containers. So we have web, our first container. We have the second container. Let's say this is our database. And we have the third container. We'll call this the application. There. So our containers, let me highlight this. Containers. Okay, so these are the containers. Now, our containers, they have this unique attributes compared to virtual machines. They are very small. Not only that, they are ultra fast. Ultra fast when it comes to provisioning. Not only provisioning, also when you delete containers. It's also a snap. You can delete hundreds of containers in a snap. Not only that, it's portable and lightweight. And when I say portable, you can easily move your container from your PC to or your workstation to the data center and to public cloud. Now, I would also want to highlight that containers also have their dedicated network. Like virtual switch in our hypervisor, but I can say that it's a little bit more complicated than virtual switch. We call it container bridge, okay? And it may use a different plugins. That will be a different story or another story. Now, like what I mentioned, containers are not full-fledged operating system. So it has only minimal library, minimal dependencies, minimal file system, minimal binary files, etc. Now, I would like to focus on the client. Okay, this client, our workstation who manages our host operating system. Now, as you can see, we can run containers. We can provision containers. We can also delete. We can manage our containers using few lines of command. You can also use scripts to automate the building of not just one, but multiple containers. And you can also use a single, well, technically you can just use a single line of command to build one or more containers. Now, let's talk about the OS level, our host. So this is our host level, our operating system. Now, unlike what we did in our virtual machines, you patch, you license per virtual machines. Okay, and it can be expensive. That's the reason why I say sometimes it can be expensive. Compared to containers, you don't need to patch every single containers. The patching is done here in the operating system level. So I will add here patch, license, and the overall maintenance is majority on the host or operating system level. Now, speaking of host level or our operating system, the Linux operating system, the Linux actually view our containers as what? This is just a process. Yes, on the Linux point of view, containers are just merely processes. Again, this is seen by the host operating system. You can easily create hundreds, if not thousands, of containers in a single snap using a single line of command and still maintain a high level of security because they are segregated and isolated using name spaces.